ソゲキング。あの旗撃ち抜け。
了解。新兵器巨大パチンコ名をカブト、その威力とくと見よう。必殺ファイヤーバードスター。
That's right, you guessed it. Today I'm going to be building a life-size, fully functional, solid wooden replica of the weapon of the king of the snipers himself, the giant slingshot Kabuto. Those of you who aren't super interested in the build process and just want to skip ahead to the reveal / between you and me demonstration, timestamp down below. For everybody else, buckle up, this one's a doozy. For materials, I'm using red oak. There's going to be a lot of force exerted on this thing, so I need something strong and stable. In the source material, this thing is pretty thin, but the idea of a piece of wood snapping off and taking my eye out is scary enough that I'm going to beef up the dimensions just a little bit. Meaning, I'm making this thing out of 2-inch stock instead of the usual 1. I'm building the staff portion of this thing out of 2 short pieces, not 1 long one, just because I happen to already have those pieces lying around, and I'm a big fan of using whatever materials I already have on hand. Besides, I can always just join them together. Obviously, I could just buy a dowel from the hardware store or a wooden broom handle instead, but I'm not a hack. I'm just kidding, I'm 100% a hack. Gluing end grain to end grain makes for a really weak joint, so I've got to add some reinforcement. I picked up a piece of steel rod and cut a little piece off the end. Then you drill a hole in one end of each half for the rod to slide into. Little pro tip. It's really easy to find the center point of a rectangle without measuring anything. Just draw an X from corner to corner, and wherever the lines overlap, there's your center. After making sure that the reinforcement fits snugly in its new home, I'm going to join the pieces together using 2-part epoxy. In my opinion, it's the best thing for gluing together wood and metal, or wood and plastic, or honestly even wood and wood. The stuff is pretty much bulletproof, it's just expensive, and a bit of a pain to use. I don't have a clamp long enough to get any good pressure on here end to end, so I'm just gonna line up the pieces and let the epoxy handle the rest. Once it's cured, I just have to round it out. The conventional way of making wood round is to use a lathe. I don't have a lathe, so I'm gonna do this the old-fashioned way. That means hand tools. I'm gonna use a concave spoke shave to round this staff out manually. I've never actually used one of these before, but little known fact, this is actually how they do it back on Sniper Island. So this whole process really adds an extra level of authenticity. Once it's done, it's actually got a great feel to it. There's a slight unevenness that makes it feel super natural. It's really nice. That actually wasn't bad at all. That was super fun. I should get in the habit of using hand tools more. It's always easier than I think it is. Now it's onto the head of the staff. I'm gonna build it out of one big solid piece, but I'm making that big solid piece out of a bunch of smaller pieces. This is a decision once again informed by the logic of what I already had in the shop. I'm laminating boards together into a panel that's the size of the finished head. Problem is, these boards are only 1 inch thick, not 2, so I've got to do it twice and then glue those panels together to manufacture myself a piece of 1.5 inch stock. Took a while, but at the end of the day, we're left with something like this. Let's do some layout. I'm measuring out my center point and then using the age-old method of a nail and some string to mark the head circumference. After a few more passes with the string and a bit of fiddling around, I managed to sketch out a shape that I was more or less happy with. Alright, it was a lot of fiddling. At this point, it's over to the bandsaw to reduce this thing down to more or less its final shape. Now I just have to hit it with the spoke shave again to round off those edges. It's at this point in the process that I realize how impossibly difficult it is trying to use a tool like this to shave down end grain oak by hand. I should get in the habit of using hand tools more.
It's always easier than I think it is.
I have offended the woodworking gods, and they are punishing me for my hubris. Never again. I picked up a big roundover bit so that I can do the majority of the work on the router table. It won't get me all the way there, but it's better than nothing. The rest has to get done by hand, using the coarsest file I have. Life is pain. Why should this be any different? After what felt like an eternity of filing, it is finally almost there. Except I just remembered that the little internal bits actually taper in towards the center, so I'm hitting them with the orbital sander, and then it's back to the files. Okay, time to attach the 2 pieces together. I'm using my same old schmame old metal bar reinforcement technique. Except this is the joint that's going to experience the vast majority of the slingshot's force, so I'm going heavy with the epoxy. Then it's just a matter of assembling it and waiting for the joint to fully cure. Okay, I'm curious about something. Since we're talking snipers, and I already have you all here, I want to get you guys' opinion on something. We all know that right now, as it stands, Sogeking, greatest sniper of all time. No contest. Now, I want to do a little bit of a poll here, a community poll. Those of you who think Sogeking, fully goated, he's got it on lock, he's gonna be the greatest sniper forever. No one will ever pass him. Let me know by hitting the like button. But those of you with a spicier take, who think that maybe, just maybe, by the end of the series, our humble friend Usopp might actually surpass him and become the greatest sniper of all time, let me know by hitting the subscribe button. In a few days, I'll tally up all the votes, and we will finally, as a community, be able to put to rest the long and hotly debated topic of who will be the greatest sniper in all of One Piece. I left a flat surface at the base of the head to attach the two pieces together, so I need to do one last little bit of work to finish things up down there. One final bit of sanding, and the nightmare is over. Okay, time to make this thing green. I'm gonna use regular old acrylic paint. This is a make or break moment. I'm not used to painting wood at all. I don't know how this is gonna turn out. This is the moment where it either ends up looking like a cheap children's toy that was painted by a 6-year-old, or it all comes together. Moment of truth. Oh, thank God it was the second one. I'm doing 2 coats and giving it a sand in between. I have no idea if this is helpful in any way, but telling a woodworker not to sand, it's like telling a bird not to sing, or the sun not to shine. Now for the fun part. What's a giant slingshot without giant rubber bands? I need a slingshot pouch, and my sewing skills are abysmal, but I happened to find this suede patch that was the exact perfect size. I think it's supposed to be used for sewing onto the elbow of like a tweed blazer, but I'm gonna go ahead and repurpose it. I'm cutting 5 slits directly into the pouch for the rubber bands to feed through. Bit tighter of a fit than I thought it would be, but we got it. After feeding it through the patch, I'm cutting a slit in the end of the rubber band and then looping it through itself. This way I can attach the bands without having to use any kind of fasteners or extra supplies. Then I just do it 4 more times and make this weirdo rubber/suede cat's cradle looking thing. Almost time to attach it to the staff. Before I do though, I've got to wrap the shaft of this thing in cloth. I'm going to attach it using super glue as well as the cloth's natural stretchiness. After doing 2 full wraps, I've decided that I absolutely hate the way this looks. It's way too silky. So I'm cutting my losses, tearing it off, and switching to good old-fashioned hockey tape. Alright, now we can attach the slingshot. I'm keeping things real simple here, just feeding the bands through the holes in the staff and then tying a big old knot. Quick snip to trim up the excess, and then it's one final step. It looks a little too pristine, so I'm using watered down black spray paint to give it a little bit of a weathered look. The idea is to brush it on, then immediately wash it off with water, so the paint only sticks around in the nooks and crannies. I think I'm done. Well, should we try this thing out? First things first, we need a target. I think I know just the thing. Unfortunately, I'm no Sogeking, so I've got to make myself something slightly easier to destroy than a flag. Not my best work, but hey, I'm going for poignant symbolism here, not perfect accuracy. Mission complete.